In the calm and luxurious neighborhood of Maitama, Abuja, lived Chief Harry Okafor and his beautiful wife, Madam Chioma. They were admired by everyone, a couple many called the Blessed Ones. Harry was a successful real estate tycoon. His car spoke of power, his mansion whispered of wealth, and his words carried influence. But behind their glamorous life was one silent pain. For 9 long years, they had no child. Every hospital, every herbal doctor, every prophet had the same sad answer: just keep praying. Then, like the breaking of dawn after a long night, the miracle finally came. Chioma conceived. The joy that filled their home was beyond words. Harry threw the biggest Thanksgiving party in Abuja. Even the poor were invited to eat and drink. He said, "God has finally remembered me." Chioma glowed with happiness. She prayed daily and took every instruction from her doctor seriously. During this time, their loyal driver Samuel became her closest companion. Samuel had worked with the Okafors for over 7 years. He was humble, prayerful, and disciplined. He was in his late 30s, calm, strong, and always respectful. He called Chioma Madam with a deep voice that always carried peace. When Harry traveled abroad for business, it was Samuel who drove Chioma to the clinic, to church, and back home. He carried her bags, opened her car door, and made sure she never lacked anything. One evening, rain poured heavily as they returned from the hospital. The car broke down right before the gate. Chioma panicked. Samuel quickly removed his jacket, covered her, and helped her run inside. Both were soaked, shivering, and laughing nervously. That night, something strange began to stir in Chioma's heart. Not love, but a deep emotional confusion. She couldn't explain why she kept thinking about the driver's kindness. Weeks passed. Harry was still abroad. Chioma became lonely. She started calling Samuel to do small things for her: fix the bulb, bring fruits, adjust the curtains. They talked often. He made her laugh. One night, when a storm cut the lights, she came downstairs and found Samuel sitting by the window, humming a gospel song. "Samuel, aren't you afraid of this thunder?" she asked. He smiled faintly. "Madam, thunder is only loud because it wants us to remember God's power." They both laughed, but something inside them crossed a line that night. When she cried about her fears of losing the baby, he held her hand to comfort her, and that comfort turned into something forbidden. The next morning, both were filled with guilt. Chioma begged him, "Please never tell anyone." It was a mistake. Samuel nodded, ashamed, and promised never to speak of it again. Months later, Chioma gave birth to a bouncing baby boy. Henry named him Chidera, meaning what God has written. The entire city celebrated. Henry danced until midnight. He finally had a son, his heir, his pride. But as Chidera grew, people began to whisper, "Have you noticed the boy looks like the driver?" One of the housemaids said to another, "Ah, my sister. Now the same eyes, same nose." At first, Henry laughed it off. But one evening, as he watched Chidera play in the living room, something struck him. The boy's dimples, the curve of his nose, even the way he smiled. It was Samuel. The thought refused to leave his mind. That night, he looked at Chioma with suspicion. "Chioma, why does our son resemble Samuel?" She froze. "Henry, please, don't start this." "I'm serious," he said firmly. "Tomorrow, I'll do a DNA test. Her hands trembled. Please, Henry, don't do this. Her fear was louder than any confession. Henry secretly took samples, his hair, Chidera's toothbrush, and sent them to the lab. 2 weeks later, the result came. His hands shook as he opened it. The words tore through his soul. No biological relationship between father and child. He collapsed into his chair. His world shattered. That evening, he didn't speak. He just stared into space. When Chioma tried to touch him, he said coldly, "Don't. Just don't." The next morning, he called Samuel to the house. "Samuel," he said, his voice trembling with controlled rage. "You have 1 hour to pack your things and leave." Samuel's face turned pale. "Sir, what did I do?" "You know what you did," Henry shouted. "You took my wife, my home, my peace." Samuel fell to his knees. "Sir, I swear, I never planned it. It happened once and we regretted it. Please forgive me." But Henry's heart had become ice. He fired Samuel instantly and threw Chioma out of the house. The woman who once wore diamonds now carried her baby and left in tears. Years passed. Henry raised Chidera alone, but his heart never healed. The boy was everything he had, yet every time he looked at him, he saw betrayal. Then fate struck again. At 56, Henry's kidneys failed. He needed a transplant urgently. None of his relatives matched. The doctor advised testing his son. When the result came, the doctor smiled. "Chief, your son is a perfect match." Henry laughed bitterly. "That boy is not my son." The doctor looks confused. "Sir, according to this test, Chidera is your biological child, 100% match." Henry's hands shook. "What did you say?" The doctor explained that the previous DNA result had been mixed up with another patient's sample. The first one was wrong. Tears rolled down Henry's face. "Oh God, what have I done?" He rushed to his car and drove straight to Chioma's village. When she saw him standing at her mother's door, she froze. "Chioma, please," he said, falling to his knees. "Forgive me. I doubted you. I destroyed us because I didn't trust you." She looked at him with wet eyes. "Henry, I also sinned. I made a terrible mistake that night, but I swear before God, Chidera is your child. I paid for that sin every day of my life." They wept together. Henry brought her home again. This time, there were no maids, no pride, no noise, only forgiveness. Samuel was never seen again. Some said he went back to his village and became a pastor. Others said he died in guilt. Nobody knew for sure. Henry and Chioma raised Chidera together in peace, teaching him humility and love. And whenever people asked about their past, Henry would simply smile and say, "Before you doubt someone you love, ask your heart if pride is not whispering louder than truth." Moral of the story: in love, trust is the soil. Without it, even miracles cannot grow. Thank you for watching Koliko African Folktales, where every story carries the soul of Africa. From brave heroes to talking animals, hidden secrets to ancient wisdom, our tales are told to entertain, inspire, and keep our traditions alive. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and tell us in the comments which part stayed with you the most. Until next time, keep the spirit of our stories alive.